The Blue Cliff record, case 43, the case. A monk asked Master Tozan, when heat and cold come, how can we avoid them? Tozan said, why don't you go to the place where there is no heat or cold? The monk asked, how do I get to that place? Tozan said, when it is hot, heat kills the monk. When it's cold, cold kills the monk. Tozan perhaps could have added, Zazen kills the monk, and Zazen kills Zazen. But this Koan, which is very well known, is symptomatic of a difficulty in Zen. It isn't that there isn't an enormous amount of commentary on this and on the other well-known koans. It's just that a lot of that commentary, to us at least, is grand but empty, sonorous, but meaningless. And the reason for that is that we fundamentally misunderstand these various masters, that we imagine that Baso, Tozan and all these other great monks represent a rupture with Buddhism up to that point, when in fact they copiously quote from sutras and other sources, but they tend to assume that their audience is aware of the quote, and so the quote isn't specifically referenced. In this case, Tozan is directly alluding to a passage which the Buddha wrote about our state in meditation, where he said that our state of perception is not no perception, it isn't disordered perception, and it isn't ordinary perception. And the question obviously remains, well, what is it? After our Zazen, we chant the Heart Sutra, where we refer to the 5 skandhas. The 5 skandhas are form, sensation, perception, mental fabrication, and consciousness. And they describe the human being, and as in lots of Buddhist formulations, they build on each other. Because our society has such a psychological bent, we're inclined to think that non-attachment occurs at the level of the 4th skandha, mental fabrication. So in the case of the monk, for instance, we might say, oh, I'm sitting Zazen, I'm very hot. Well, I notice that's making me irritable, I shouldn't attach to that. I shouldn't go off into a trail of thoughts and emotions. I shouldn't love or hate the condition, and so on. So we locate non-attachment there. That's helpful because it steadies us. But if we think that's what Zazen is, we're completely wasting our time. And if we tell other people that's what Zazen is, we're completely wasting their time. The non-attachment is at the level of the earlier skandha, perception. So we're not saying, oh, I'm sitting in a room in a blue chair with the sunlight coming through the window, practicing non-attachment. No, we are not at that level of perception. We're at the skanda below that, the skanda of sensation. So we're feeling, we're sensing all of this activity and expression in ourselves and the world, but we're not fixing it, we're not conceptualizing it, we're not picturing it. And that's why we emphasize the importance of the body so much, because if we practice Zazen, but we're not embodied, then our sensation can't be rooted, and so we're always going to misunderstand Zazen as being something to do with consciousness.